Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, this is going to be my review of the new vehicle that's been added into Grand Theft Auto Online, the Benefactor Streiter. I'm going to be talking about, is this vehicle worth it, some of its cool quirks and features, and ultimately whether or not you should pull the trigger and buy this vehicle. So, looking at this car, it's obviously pretty interesting at first, one of the more unique drip feed and DLC vehicles that Rockstar have added. So it's available on the Southern San Andreas Super Auto site for $500,000, $500,000 in total. Now, to help you guys out with this, I am going to be doing a shark card giveaway. So I'm actually going to be ending this on Sunday, so on Christmas Eve. So this will give you more than enough to buy the Streiter and customize it and probably spend some money on some extra stuff if you really want to. So check out that giveaway. It's going on my Twitter account right now. I'll leave a link to that in the description. But anyways, getting back to the Streiter, it's $500,000. It's a 4-seater sports car, which is quite interesting. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Probably the most interesting thing about this is the description, and that's probably not a good thing when you're talking about this car. It's rather interesting. Now, getting into the vehicle stats, not like it matters on this website, but it's a little under 4 bars of top speed, about 2 3/4 of acceleration, 1 1/4 of braking, and then a little over 3 of traction. So getting into the customization of this vehicle, and right off the bat, you're going to notice it's not great. You only have 13 options for customization, which is really not that good. So the first main thing you can do is bumpers. So in the bumpers, you can have stock, you can have custom, street, or bulkhead. That's pretty much it. Now, I'm not excited about any of the bumper options. The one that I think I like the most is the stock bumper because it has those fog lights on there. However, they don't work. In typical Rockstar fashion, the fog lights don't work, which is kind of a bummer. So none of the bumper options for me look all that great. Hood options, again, is probably your second most thing you'll be able to customize. They're not great either. Stock, rigid, vented, race, and competition. None of them are really all that awesome to write home about. And that's pretty much all you can do as far as customizing this. Now, you've also probably noticed, hey, there's a few things that seem to be missing from here. And you're right. The first of which is for the license plate. For whatever reason, you can't modify the license plate, which makes no sense at all because most of the bumper options allow you to have a second one on there. So why would Rockstar do that? Who knows? And also the suspension. If you thought this car was at an awkward height, well, don't worry because you can't do anything about it. You're not able to adjust the suspension on this vehicle, which is kind of a shame because I think it's one of the more awkward sitting cars that we have in the game. But nonetheless, those are two things that you won't find in the LSC. And then number 3, you cannot change the stock wheels either. So they're chrome by default, which means you can't change them. However, if you want them to be like black or alloy, there's an SUV wheel that's actually called Benefactor that is almost identical to the stock wheel. So you can use that and get a really close design and be able to change it to whatever color you want. So customization, pretty lackluster, I'm not going to lie, especially given today's standards of cars. I think that would have flown in 2013 or 2014, but nowadays when players are expecting a ton of customization, upgrades, and modification abilities, that right there is a huge bummer. Now, let's get onto the performance of this vehicle and the way it feels, and it's not all that great. Now, let's talk about what I think Rockstar did wrong here. This vehicle is a sports car. You heard me right. So that means in races, it's going to be competing against the Masacro, the LG, the new Pariah, which is the fastest vehicle in the game. It's going to be competing against the Feltzer. It's going to be competing against a whole bunch of other slew of sports cars that are going to be way better than this because this does not deserve to be a sports car. If anything, it should either be SUV or off-road. I get that in real life, this is based off of a very sporty Mercedes-Benz, but it doesn't make sense to be a sports car in online because it's pretty much useless in races. Now, if this vehicle was an SUV or if it was an off-road, then it would make way more sense and could actually be competitive in some scenarios. But as a sports car, it absolutely just does not make any sense to try and use this in races. Now, this vehicle gives sort of an off-road vibe to it. Rockstar give that in the description and even the look of the car itself. But what does that mean? Does it actually perform well off-road? And the answer to that is not particularly well. I don't really know how to give this like a benchmark to compare it to. It's basically just a super fancy kind of medium good off-road vehicle. I mean, there are better off-road cars that I would prefer, like the trophy truck, or if I want something a little bit more nimble, maybe like an off-road dirt bike or something like that. This vehicle almost doesn't have a place. It's like if your really posh, rich friends wanted to kind of go off-roading, but at the same time, not really go off-roading. There's like almost never a scenario where you would use this car. Now, one scenario you might say it's pretty good at is it is a 4-seater, which is quite nice. It can hold yourself and 3 other friends or crew members. But as far as 4-door cars go, it's not even all that great. There are way better 4-door cars that we've seen, been introduced in the game for a long time now, like the Buffalo S, the Sultan, even some of the newer ones like the Coil Raiden, the new Tesla Model 3 that they just added, and even some of the unreleased drip feed cars like the Fister Neon. That's going to be a 4-seater car. So there are way better 4-seater options. It's almost like this car just doesn't have any room to exist. Now, quickly wrapping up here, this kind of made me ask the question, is this the worst DLC car that Rockstar has ever added? So let's talk about the 3 things. We've got price, which is actually not bad. $500,000 is for the most part pretty cheap. As far as today's standards go in 2017, that's almost nothing. So price is an A+. That's really good. However, what are you getting for that price? You're getting a vehicle that has pretty terrible customization. In fact, it lacks customization seen on the majority of cars. There's no license plate upgrade option. You have to do it from the iFruit app. There's no suspension change, which is kind of a bummer. And there's really only 2 things you can update about the car. It also has a weird and wacky look that to me just seems a little bit disproportioned. And performance-wise, because it's been put in the wrong category in my opinion, it can't compete in races and it doesn't really serve any purpose as a sports car. And even if this was meant as an off-road vehicle, there's other vehicles that do it better and for cheaper. So I'm not really too sure why you would buy this as an off-road option. To me, this is a vehicle you're going to buy only if you're a huge fan of Mercedes-Benz, which is what this is based off of, Benefactor, or you, for whatever reason, just really want this vehicle as sort of a, garage showcase, or for whatever reason want to take it out on occasion. This really won't have any true purpose other than that. So in my opinion, this vehicle gets the ultimate buyer beware sticker. I think it might be the worst DLC vehicle that Rockstar has ever added in Grand Theft Auto Online. But I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments section down below. Let me know what you think about this car and more. Is it the worst vehicle they've ever added? Am I being too hard on it? Am I missing some sort of secret feature that makes this super cool? Let me know your thoughts, opinions, and more in the comments section down below. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And also, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, where you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.